Subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to get all the latest updates.
In my statement of 8th April 2022, I had referred to the tectonic shifts caused by the conflict in Europe, which had created fresh challenges for global growth and the conduct of monetary policy. As the war draws on and sanctions and retaliatory actions intensify, shortages, volatility in commodity and financial markets, supply dislocations, and most alarmingly, persistent and spreading inflationary pressures are becoming more acute with every passing day. Debt distress is rising in developing world amidst capital outflows and currency depreciations. Recent GDP releases suggest that the global economic recovery is losing pace. Amidst these challenges, which I termed as humongous in my last policy statement, the Indian economy has shown resilience, drawing from its innate strength of its underlying fundamentals, supported by prudent and favorable policy mix. In the conduct of monetary policy, we have demonstrated our resolve not to be bound by any rule book, and our preparedness to decisively deploy full range of tools, both conventional and unconventional. By remaining accommodative, monetary policy continues to foster congenial financial conditions to support growth and mitigate the adverse effects of the geopolitical crisis. As a result, the Indian economy has managed to weather the shock so far. Reassuringly, we have also been able to preserve macro-financial stability despite the synchronized shocks of commodity prices, supply disruptions, and higher inflation unleashed by the war. Confronted by elevated inflationary pressures that have shifted the future trajectory of inflation upwards, we have announced our intention to engage in withdrawal of accommodation to ensure that inflation remains aligned to the target. As I had stated in April 2022, as I had stated in last April, monetary policy, our actions will be calibrated to the rapidly evolving situation so that impulses of growth are preserved and strengthened. Our journey is best reflected in the words of famous Greek philosopher Epictetus. The trials you encounter will introduce you to your strengths. Remain steadfast, and one day you will build something that endures. As we navigate through this difficult period, it is necessary to be sensitive to the new realities and incorporate them into our thinking. In the recent World Economic Outlook released by the IMF in April 2022, the International Monetary Fund, that is the IMF, has noted, and I quote, "The economic effects of the war are spreading far and wide, like seismic waves that emanate from the epicenter of an earthquake, mainly through commodity markets, trade, and financial linkages." This sounds somewhat similar to our description of the tectonic shifts in the monetary policy statement of mine last month. It is, however, an unquote. The bit I said about it resembles was mine, but the statement of the IMF reads again. I will read it again. "The economic effects of the war are spreading far and wide like seismic waves that emanate from the epicenter of an earthquake, mainly through commodity markets, trade, and financial linkages." It is, however, important to recognize that despite our strengths and our buffers, India is not an island in this globally connected world. There are spikes in headline CPI inflation in March 2022, as anticipated in the MPC statement of April. The print for April is also expected to be elevated. There is the collateral risk that inflation remains elevated at these levels for too long. And if this kind of a scenario unfolds, then it can de-anchor inflation expectations, which in turn can become self-fulfilling and detrimental to growth and financial stability. Hence, we must remain in readiness to use all policy levers to preserve macroeconomic and financial stability while enhancing the economy's resilience. I reiterate that the situation is dynamic and fast-changing, and our actions have to be tailored accordingly. This is something which was there in my statement of last month also.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.